Zimrat, yeah, my God is my strength and my salvation. And wow, big breath in, big breath out. It has been a remarkably challenging day for many of us here, particularly those of us in metropolitan Melbourne, but all of us in Victoria. And I think the implications of today's announcements will continue to ripple across all of those of us who live in Australia for weeks, months, and unfortunately years to come, as we continue to move our way out of this crisis, this pandemic, but remarkably slowly. And we fear the weight of that burden. We fear the trudge of that slow movement. And so it's fitting that we begin our evening of prayer reflection with the words that Iro just shared with us, that beautiful psalm that our people have sung for millennia as they've sought to connect with a strength greater than themselves, a strength from deep down within that can allow us to move on and move ahead. I hope that this hour of prayer brings you comfort and consolation. And I want to assure you that we're going to continue to be with you and support you in the ways that we have throughout the rest of the last 2 weeks of this initial lockdown through into the new year and beyond. Whether we can physically gather or whether we have to get together virtually, we'll continue to celebrate all the beauty and wonder of community and to support one another. I want to welcome those of you that are getting increasingly comfortable in the Yachad platform, and let you know, as I did last night, that if the way that the service appears on your screen doesn't allow you to see the chat on the right-hand side, then simply double-click on the video itself up the top where it says Daily Daven 6:15 p.m. And it'll open the unlisted video on YouTube, and it all should appear there for you as long as you're logged in, registered, or subscribed. But that's with that word of welcome offered and those words of instruction shared, I invite you to turn with Ido to page 4 in the prayer book as we offer the call to prayer.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך, ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר בדברו מעריב ערבים, בחוכמה פותח שערים, ובתבונן משנה עתים, ומחליף את הזמנים ומסדר את הכוכבים, בשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו. בורא יום ולילה, גולה אור מפני חושך, וחושך מפני אור, ומעביל יום ובין לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני המעריב ערבים. Blessed you, eternal one, who brings on the evening, and with it our rest.
אהבת עולם בית ישראל, עמך אתה, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו, בשוכבנו ובקומנו, נשיח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נהגה יומם ולילה. באהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בהם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל, ואמרת עליהם, ועשו להם ציצית על כנפי בגדיהם לדורותם, ונתנו הציצית הכנף בציצית תכלת. והיה לכם לציצית, וראיתם אותו, וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני, ועשיתם אותם, ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם, אשר אתם זונים אחריהם, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Adonai Elohechem Emet. Truth. Truth. Truth is the word that begins the next prayer, the Geulah, which at the core of it has our redemptive song. And we say the word Emet directly after the words of the Shema as an affirmation that we believe these words to be true. Not simply because we were told to, that our parents told us to believe these words, but because even in our most difficult days, we are and have been reminded of the redemptive power of our tradition and of our God. And that's what the Geulah is about. Out of the words of the Shema, out of this belief in our tradition, comes a reminder of the fact that faith, community, values, they can bring redemption. But at moments of stress and moments of anxiety, it is hard to feel the imminent arrival of redemption. Which is why on days like this, and Ido, here comes your cue, listen carefully. On days like this, I think it's really important for us to remember that there are things with which we can control, and there are things that we cannot control. And that one of those things that we can control is the attitude, the kavanah, the intention with which we go into each day. And so my suggestion to you, my recommendation from tradition and from this very modern rabbi, is perhaps better epitomized by the words of Torah and the melody of Bobby McFerrin. And we say, don't worry, be happy, be comfortable.
Here's a little song I wrote, you might want to sing it note for note. Don't worry, be happy. Here's a little song I wrote, you might want to sing it note for note. Don't worry, be happy. נהדר בקודש, don't worry, be happy. נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, don't worry, be happy. Singing, don't worry about a thing, because every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing, because every little thing is gonna be alright.
Every little thing is going to be all right. Not quite sure exactly how or when, but let's not worry. Don't worry about a thing. I promise it'll help. Just as the words of Hashkivenu will help settle our hearts and settle our spirits as we head on into this evening. Hashkivenu can be found on page 18 in our Siddur.
השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום ועמידנו מלכנו לחיים ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך ותקננו בעצה טובה מלפניך והושיענו למען שמך והושיענו למען שמך והגן בעדנו והסר מעלינו אויב ושמו צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ולשלום מעתה
And so from that beautiful rendition of Hashkivenu, we turn forward to the Amidah. It begins on page 74 in our prayer books, page 74. We'll begin, as is our practice, with the first three blessings together as a community, and then continue silently as we make our way through the words of the Amidah before rejoining each other for a prayer for peace at the foot of page 100. The Amidah.
אדוני שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואימותינו אלוהי אברהם אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב אלוהי שרה אלוהי רבקה אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא אל עליון גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל וזוכה חסדי אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך חוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, בחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע. משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מזריח השמש ומוריד הטל. מכלכל חיים בחסד, בחיי מתים ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לישני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי המתים. אתה קדוש ושמך הקדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יעללוך סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Continue with a few moments of silent personal prayer. To all these thoughts, all these prayers, all these hopes, and all these dreams, we offer a prayer of peace.
יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, אמרי פי, וגיון ליבי לפניך. אדוני צורי, אדוני וגואלי, וגואלי. יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, אמרי פי, והגיון ליבי לפניך. אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, וגואלי, וגואלי.
May the words of our mouths and the meditations of our heart be acceptable to you, our God, our rock, and our Redeemer. Before we move forward to our concluding prayers and the mourners Kaddish, we recognize that Rosh Hashanah, this very different Rosh Hashanah, is quickly approaching. And whilst we have much to do at TBI to consider how it is that we are going to reset under the continued restrictions that we are functioning under, we will reset, and we are going to have the most beautiful new year together. But that requires all of us to continue to do our part to prepare. I can see in the chat there are a number of you who are acknowledging and thanking Esther's recipes. She's certainly sharing some of her joy for the new year. I want to encourage others too, whether it be the video blessings that is part of the Share a Blessing program for our healing service, whether it be the Torah passing or the shofar photos, whether it be the recipes. There are so many different ways that we can contribute to getting ready for the new year, as well as doing the personal work, the reflective work that is such an important part of this season. And a major part of that reflective work is hearing and responding to the sound of the shofar. Now we're getting to a point where I'm almost running out of shofarot at home. I keep taking them to work when I lead services from the synagogue and not returning them. And we had 3 services on Shabbat, and I failed to bring any of those shofarot home. Yesterday, for our daily Daven, I shared with you my beautiful ibex shofar, which made that foghorn sound. I'm going to reach over and actually take one that doesn't belong to me, belongs to my young man, to Sam, and I've never actually sounded it before. But he picked this up when we were on the TBI family trip to Israel. It was at the most touristy of shops ever, a tourist shop on Machane Yehuda, on Ben Yehuda Street in Jerusalem, not even Machane Yehuda. And he picked it up out of a basket, like a laundry basket in front of the store, which had a whole lot of shofarot in it. And he put it to his mouth, maybe as an 8-year-old, and he got a perfect sound first time. And I kind of looked across the mall at him and said, we're buying that. That doesn't usually happen. That's your shofar. It's yours forever. Unfortunately, I said that a little too loud, which didn't give me a lot of negotiating to do with the storekeeper. But nonetheless, it's a beautiful kudu shofar, and we'll try and sound it to welcome the new year. You know?
Tekiah. Shvarim. Tekiah. Tekiah. Teruah. Tekiah. Tekiah. Shvarim Teruah. Tekiah.
And with those sounds, I wish you a Shana Tova. I hope that you make every part of the opportunity in the days and weeks that lie ahead of us to continue your work of preparation for the new year, to thinking about that which has been part of your life in the year gone by, to think about those things that you want to leave in 5,780, as well as those things that you'd like to bring into your life as we enter to the new year. Those are all the opportunities that lie before us in accordance with our tradition. We turn forward now to page 586 in our prayer books and continue with our Aleinu prayer.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת קדום לה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל עמונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
And so it's from the words of the Aleinu that we turn forward now to the words of Kaddish Tom, which can be found on page 598, 598 in our Siddurim. And I recognize that there are a number of you who are with us as part of our daily Daven this evening who are here to remember a loved one. Whether the yahrzeit fell last night and through today, and the candle has been burning in your home for the last 24 hours, or whether it is a flame that you have just kindled this evening and will be remembering through the hours that lie ahead, we want to recognize that this is an important time of remembrance for all of you. And we light this candle alongside of you to show our solidarity and support for the lives that you have cherished, as well as the lives that you have lost. Michael, we begin by mentioning your mother, late Mother Bina, who was so loved to so many in our community and was taken from your family circle and our friendship circle 6 years ago. We honored her last night, and I see you with us in services tonight and mention her again. Sylvie, to you too, we recognize the anniversary of the passing of your grandmother and your grandfather, your Claire and Ludwig. We know that it's only in recent years you found of the dates and circumstances of their loss, but we mourn with you how much more could have been done to prevent this loss during the Shoah 78 years ago. Victor, we also mourn with you as we recall the passing of your father, Pinchas, 13 years ago, and Susie too, your father, taken a lifetime ago, 44 years ago, as we remember Leslie Honig. I wish all of you who are remembering Yotzai's long life, just as I remember and recall those who have most recently taken from our community. Dylan Jane Ellis, whose Shiva we're observing, Gary Axe, Nathan Fink, Helen Leach, Miriam Friedlander, George Lederman, Jeffrey Salinger, Ruth Shire, Nancy Shanker, Irene Singh, Dimitros Tsipanopoulos, and Bettine Wolfman. We think of all of those names as well as those whose names lie deep within our hearts as we offer the words of Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemer haba, v'amad divrach Yerutei v'amlich malchutei, v'chayachon v'yomechon v'cheidachol Beit Yisrael, v'agalav v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevorach l'olam amei amaya, yiparach v'yishtabah v'yipa'ah v'yitroman v'yitnaseh, v'yitadav v'yitalei v'yitalal shmei d'kodisha b'richu, v'elam min kol brichata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran ba'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who reigns in the heavens above bring peace to all of us, blessing to all humanity, but most of all, blessing to the memory of those who have lived and whom we have lost. To that we say amen as we say farewell to this candle for now and return to Idor and I as we turn to offer a closing song. I've given you enough suggestions, Idor. I'm going to just leave it to you.
Thank you. עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. סלאם עלינו ועל כל העולם, סלאם, סלאם, סלאם עלינו ועל כל העולם, סלאם, סלאם. עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. סלאם עלינו ועל כל העולם, סלאם, סלאם, סלאם עלינו ועל כל העולם, סלאם, סלאם. עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם.
Friends, I want to wish you all an Erev Tov, a Laila Tov, and a Shavua Tov, a good evening, a good night, and a good week, a week of health and blessing for all of us. Thank you for joining us here, Yachad, Lev Lev, together, heart to heart. Sharon and Kim will be joining you tomorrow evening. Kol Tov.